why we have an illegal immigration problem. If making it easy to be an illegal alien isn't enough, how about offering a reward for being an illegal immigrant? No sane country would do that, right? Guess again. If you break our laws by entering this country without permission and give birth to a child, we reward that child with U.S. citizenship and guarantee of full access to all public and social services this society provides. And that's a lot of services. Is it any wonder that 2/3 of the babies born at taxpayer expense at county-run hospitals in Los Angeles are born to illegal alien mothers? Just when the American people think nothing can be more absurd than the way we deal, or rather don't deal, with illegal immigration, they discover that we have a political asylum system that would qualify us for Senator Proxmire's Golden Fleece Award 1,000 times over. I don't know why he didn't make this award. He should have. Last year, more than 100,000 people showed up in this country, landing at our airports, washing up on our shores in leaky boats, crossing our borders illegally, overstaying their visas, saying two magic words, political asylum, and virtually assured themselves of being allowed to remain in the United States forever. Anyone, no matter how specious the claim, can utter those words and usually within a matter of hours be released on their own recognizance onto the streets of our country with a promise that they'll show up for hearing 18 months later. Can anyone really say they're surprised that the vast majority of asylum applicants never, ever show up for these hearings?
And there was no accountability. This was 33 years ago. This was after amnesty, by the way. I just want to make that clear. Okay. Oh, man. Okay, yeah, leave it the way it is. Sometimes it goes in and out. And I'm like, no, don't lose my topics. Now, Supreme Court upholds Mississippi mail ballot grace period. 5-4 ruling. Yes, we know. y'all are okay with, what was it, election week? Not election day, election week, election month, election season. You don't care. And I have something that I was going over where somebody, I guess, I forget what state it is, but apparently somebody working at the county level, they took the ballots and they ripped them up. They ripped up election ballots and absentee ballots, and they were found in the trash. And this person is going to face trial. But what are we doing? We really can't have fair elections anymore. People have gotten to the point where they are just petulant children. Well, we just don't like it, so we're just going to rip it up and we're just going to change the results because we want what we want. You are the same. You are people who just don't need to be in office. It's just horrible. Just horrible. So with that, let's get into some of our topics on all sides. So the Birthright Citizenship ruling sparks debate over constitutional authority. So the Supreme Court on Tuesday ruled that birthright citizenship remains protected under the Constitution, rejecting President Trump's effort to end it. He wasn't trying to end it. What he was trying to do is end illegals coming here and having children. That's what he was trying to do. He was trying to end people basically having an allegiance to another country and coming here and saying, because it's just soil, I can have a child here, and now you have to give me all the benefits because that child's a U.S. citizen. Because even the Supreme Court said that child's a U.S. citizen regardless of their parents' status, because what our forefathers did not predict, but they did say something. They did not predict that people would be allowed to be in here illegally. They really thought we were just going to, uphold the border. I'm just saying, we didn't do that. We didn't. And we were allowed to become overrun. And they did cite invasion. What if this could be used to invade our country? I feel a little invaded. I'm just saying. Because we have over 300 legal ports of entry. You cannot tell me you cannot find a legal port of entry. You know why it's so difficult to become a U.S. citizen? Because of the fraud, because you have to be vetted, because you have to actually do the work. It's a privilege to be a U.S. citizen. It is not a right. And that's the difference. And if there is anybody who has a right to it, whose, lineage it was written for, is me. Because see, my great-great-great-grandmother has freedmen on her marriage certificates, which lets me know that she was an emancipated slave. That is who the 14th Amendment was written for. It wasn't written for anybody to be just soil, because it didn't say that. And people have politically just abused the 14th Amendment. And in proxy, abused the American people. You cannot come here breaking the law and then expect to be rewarded by it. But that is the system that has been created, and it's going to stop. It will. Now, defendants in a Texas ICE facility incident case sentenced up to 100 years in prison. Good. What is wrong with you? You weren't protesting. You were out there doing all kinds of nonsense. And I kept saying, I was like, these people are going to go to jail. They're going to go to jail. They're going to go to jail, jail, jail. And now you're in jail. Well, actually, prison. Because these are federal crimes. Oh, yeah, it's happening. Again, SCOTUS upholds birthright citizenship, says Trump order unconstitutional. Oh, y'all are just smiling and just gleeful. It doesn't change the fact that you are okay with illegal activity. We're going to get to that. CPJ to review journalists killed in Gaza. List after Hamas releases militant obituaries. So sad. So sad. These gentlemen were just covering the news, and they lost their lives. So definitely be praying for their families. Keep their families in your prayers. You may not, and all the times, with these conflicts, it's like, well, they're the enemy, and these people, they still have families. There was still somebody that loved them. Right or wrong, just saying, we need to pray. Okay. The European heat record temps, excess deaths, climate change, and biased headlines. Yeah, it's getting hotter because the more trees that you cut down and the more cement you have, it's going to be hotter. That's just, it is what it is. So if anybody's terraforming the planet, it's us humans. Yeah, but it needs to stop. And it's interesting because the same people that talk about climate change are the people abusing the climate more than we do. Who's driving, flying all these Lear jets everywhere, putting chemicals in the air? Not me, because I don't own one. Just saying. Look, I'm out of that conversation. Just saying. A media divided over Trump's Great American State Fair. And then SCOTUS allows mail-in ballots to be counted after Election Day. So we've got our topics done so far. Now, what I wanted to do is I wanted to actually play a video from America Real Voices. And let me make sure I'm saying that right. Sorry, y'all. Getting to my notes. Yes, Real America's Voice. Sorry about that. Real America's Voice. And they just had a little bit to say about the SCOTUS decision.
Show with a major decision out of the United States Supreme Court. They ruled that birthright citizenship is legal, that it must continue. Now, that doesn't mean that the Congress doesn't have options. Now, the obvious way would be a constitutional amendment, but there are some things short of that, something that could get through a Senate with just 51 votes, meaning a spending bill. They could outlaw birth tourism centers and say no state will get money if they allow a birthright tourism center in their state. They could also declare that any state that allows a illegal alien can't recognize the child of that illegal alien because they violated the law. That also could be tied to federal funding. There are options for addressing this short of a constitutional amendment, which doesn't seem possible in this divided America. I see a lot of whining and gnashing of teeth, but you know who's not? President Trump. Today he said